Taking a while, so we'll get started over here. Welcome. I assume you registered for this webinar because you want to make sure 2021 is your absolute best year in real estate. Yes, thumbs up for that. Now, here's the interesting thing about real estate. I think every single real estate agent will agree, 99.9% of them for sure would agree that focusing on listings is how you want to have your business run. And there are several reasons for that. When you are the one holding the listings, when you are a great listing agent, you control your time, which with buyers, your time can be completely out of control. You control the market. You have thousands of agents locally, and then hundreds of thousands of agents worldwide, actually, looking to help you sell your listings. And most importantly, you control your income. So being a great listing agent, when you think about the title of this webinar, how to take 2 listings per week in 2021, I want to start by having you think about this. If you are already taking 2 listings a week every week, or even more than that, doing whatever it is, whatever methods you're using to bring in these listings, then for you, my goal is to give you a lot of great ideas today that you can use to add 2 more a week. And for those of you who are not yet taking 2 listings a week, what I'm going to share with you today, when you really, really focus on applying it, I know will help you get there. So I want you to write this down. I like always saying, write this down, write this down. It's just a habit so that you remember this stuff. You have to think about what it is you're doing currently and how you can add to your business clearly. And you shouldn't have all your eggs in one basket. Meaning, in my 15 years of coaching and training real estate agents, I've noticed that most real estate agents have one source of business that they rely upon very heavily. And that is really not a good way to go when you want to keep adding listings to your business. I would say you should have 3 sources of listings, 3 reliable, predictable, consistent sources of listings. Definitely one of them would be your past clients and sphere of influence. I personally never worked my past clients and sphere, and that doesn't mean that I don't recommend that you do it. The challenge with that is for you to be able to predict the number of listings that you're going to take from contacting your past client and sphere. That's not easy to do. You're going to get a lot of buyer referrals, and it takes quite a bit of time of a lot of consistent contacts to your past client and sphere for you to have that predictability. Now, I think all of you know that my strength as a real estate agent and as a real estate coach are for sale by owners and expired listings. And it's very easy to explain why. I am very impatient. I want listings, and I want listings now, today. What can I do today? Let's say I walk into my office in the morning and I have no leads, 0 leads, and I want to take a listing today. How can I do that in a way that it's predictable, that I could do it every single day? And The only way that you could actually do that and do it every day is mastering for sale by owners and expired listings. That's what I did. And I did without any sales experience, without a college degree, English being my second language. I have a lot of reasons why. I had two small kids. How about that? I have a lot of reasons why I should have not succeeded. Let's put it that way. I had a lot of obstacles and challenges to overcome. And I say that not to impress you. I just want you to understand that some of the challenges that you have right now, guess what? If you believe that something will work out for you, you will find opportunities. And if you don't believe it will work out, you'll find obstacles. So what you may consider an obstacle or a challenge or a reason why it's going to be hard, listen, here's the deal. If you are a full-time real estate agent and you plan on being in real estate for the next several years, why not give it your best shot at being and becoming the single best agent in your marketplace? There's nothing exciting about being mediocre or just being average. Mastering for sale by owners and expired listings is not going to happen overnight, but you want to take 2 listings a week every week in 2021 and beyond, and then even more than 2 listings a week, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can do that with FSBOs and expireds. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, what about the market? If I'm right now in many parts of the United States, and I know there's Anabella from Portugal, at least one of you from Portugal. There are some of you from Canada here. It doesn't matter where you are or what is happening, whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. When you master both FSBOs and expireds, you will have a reliable, consistent source of listings for yourself. And here's why. In a buyer's market, so a buyer's market is when you have a lot of inventory, a lot of supply, and fairly low demand. So that is a buyer's market. In that kind of market, you will have more expired listings than for sale by owners. Even though you're going to be heavier on expires because there's a lot of inventory and not a lot selling every month, so properties are going to expire, you'll still have a really good number of FSBOs. When I started in real estate back in 1996, that is the kind of market that I started selling in. It was a buyer's market. And there was an incredible high number of expires, but there were also a lot of FSBOs everywhere. Now, in a seller's market, when you have low inventory and high demand, it's the opposite. You're going to have fewer expireds and more FSBOs because the market is hot. Everybody thinks they can sell on their own. So here's why I say that. Because, well, you don't understand my market. My market is this, my market is that. That's a very common excuse that agents have as to why FSBOs and expires. I don't have a lot of expireds, or I don't have a lot of FSBOs. And here's what I'd say to you if you're thinking like that. Do you have one expired listing a week? You don't have a lot. I mean, no matter where you are, you probably have at least one, right? Do you have one expired a week? Yes. Are you calling that one that you have, or FSBOs for the matter? Are you calling that one? No, I'm not. So what is the difference if you have one or you have 100? If you're not calling the one that you have, you could see how I don't have a lot of FSBOs or I don't have a lot of expires. It's just an excuse for you not to actually put in the time to master this. Because when you do, there's such a great sense of personal power, I would say, in knowing that you're not controlled by the market, meaning whatever is happening in the market or whatever is happening in the world, guess what? People still have to sell their home. People still buy homes for whatever reason. It could be positive reasons, negative reasons. It's none of our business to figure that out. The point is, there are people buying and selling, and they need a great real estate agent. And if you tell yourself, well, this is a lot of, see, the personal power, a lot of work. I didn't finish my sentence. This is a lot of work to master all this stuff. You're going to be in real estate for the next several years anyhow. Time is going to pass, whether you choose to master this conversation or not. And the point is also that the people that are buying and selling every day, because they have to buy and sell every day, the FSBOs and expireds out there that are going to list with real estate agents, they're going to do it whether you're involved in it or not. So get involved in it and take advantage of these opportunities. The last webinar that I did last month, we were talking about FSBOs. Today, I want to start with expireds, and I want to give you a lot of reasons why. Expired should be your number one priority every single day. So I want you to write down the word mindset. And what should your mindset be when you prospect every day? Your mindset is setting one qualified listing appointment. That is the only reason why you prospect every day. You don't prospect to make contacts, to do it for 2 to 3 hours. You don't prospect to get leads. It's about appointments. And in order for listing appointments, and in order for you to set a listing appointment, obviously you got to find somebody that wants to sell their house. So the goal in prospecting is for you to talk to as many people as you have to, so you could find someone who's interested in selling. So then you could set a listing appointment, go out and take a listing. And there's certainly a lot of different options of who you can call. You can call your past client, your sphere of influence. You could call neighborhoods. You could even call for sale by owners. And expired listings should be the first calls that you make every single day in the morning. First calls of the day. Why? Approximately 50% of expired listings relist their homes within 72 hours, 3 days after expiring. Approximately half of them are back in the multiple listing service. So clearly, there's really no better prospect. They're even better than for sale by owners. Why is that? Because expires are actually easier to list than FSBOs. For those of you who have known me for a while, or you've seen some webinars online, or you were here last month for the FSBO webinar, FSBO Mastery can make you millions. It could definitely make you millions. Expired Mastery can make you millions also. The thing with FSBOs, though, is they are easier to talk to when you first call. You know, they're I'm not going to use the word friendly, because I think that would be like being way too nice, right? To most FSBOs. They may not be friendly. However, they are a little more open to conversation. They will ask if you have a buyer. Some will offer to pay a commission if you have a buyer. Some may invite you to their open house, or tell them, you know, they would say you can come preview the property. They will talk to you. New expireds, and a new expired is defined by someone whose property expired in the MLS today. Okay, they're only new the day that they expired. The next day they're not new anymore. They're already an old expired. And that's a mindset for you too. That urgency is critical, because if you call today's expireds tomorrow, some of them will have listed already. And most of them will already have set 2, 3 listing appointments. I would say probably about 80% of all the expireds that I ever listed in my real estate career, I listed them the same day that they expired. 80%. And when you talk to great agents that are working expired successfully, they will tell you that the majority of the expired listings is same day appointment, get out, get a contract signed. Now, again, when you compare it to for sale by owners, the new ones, the new expires, they're not as easy to speak with as FSBOs are, but they are easier to list because you may have an easy time speaking with a for sale by owner, but getting out there and listing it requires you, in most cases, unless they just, they've been out there for a while and you catch them at the perfect time, which is rare, when they're ready to list the home, you're going to have to get out there and show them value and why they should pay you, why you are worth way more than the commission you charge, and how you're going to, and that presentation takes practice, and it takes you really working on it. Where expireds, if you, here, write this down about expireds. If you can get past the initial few seconds of an expired call with a new expired, because the old ones, 2-3 days a week, they're easy to talk to. But then again, some agents think like, well, then, if they're easy to talk to after a few days, then I should just call them a few days later. Well, if you want to miss most of the, at least 50% of the expireds that are listing the property right away, yeah, call when they're easy to talk to. I mean, they're tougher to talk to, but that's where the greatest opportunities are. And it's usually the first few seconds of the call, because obviously, and put yourself in the situation of an expired. Pretend you are an expired. You put your property for sale 6 months ago. Obviously, you wanted to sell it. 6 months go by, the property is unsold, and the day it comes off the MLS, you're bombarded with phone calls from real estate agents, and everybody can sell it now, except nobody sold in the last 6 months. I wouldn't be happy. Yeah, I would be giving them the same exact objections that you're hearing. I would be probably, after a few phone calls, I stop answering the phone. And the only agents that would catch my attention are the ones that are really confident. I'm going to give you the opening line for my expired script in a few minutes. And you'll have an opportunity to write it down. But the number one thing that an expired listing is looking for is confidence from the agent. And so if you call an expired, and unless you're the first agent to call them in the morning, they haven't figured out yet that they're going to get like 10 calls per minute here, right? Depending on the market you're in. I'm in South Florida, Miami, largest board of realtors in the United States. I mean, yeah, the 10 calls per minute here. So if you're the first agent and they haven't figured out yet that that's what's happening this morning, they may actually just answer the phone. Oh, hello, normal. By the time they've received 10, 20, 50, 30 calls, whatever it is, they're already not happy because the home didn't sell. Now they're double not happy because they're being bombarded with phone calls from real estate agents. So you got to remember that. Yeah. So they are typically kind of agitated, a little abrupt, frustrated, angry. They could be any and all of those things. And typically that's how new expireds are. And so the first few seconds of the call, you got to be able to engage them in conversation, because those first few seconds, you either engage them or you lose them. That's it. I mean, so you have to be, I talk about this a lot to my clients. You have to be really, really, really focused. You got to be in the zone. And that is one of the biggest challenges that real estate agents have in general. well, not just real estate agents, anybody, right? We can, I speak for myself too. I can get distracted very easily. And we live in a day and time when everybody thinks, or a lot of people think, that multitasking is actually efficient. When you're calling new expireds in the morning, that has to be your single focus. You got to use all of your mental power to stay focused, because again, you got a few seconds to engage them or you're done. So when they answer the phone, hello, and you go, hi, you're reading a script. Obviously, if you don't have the script internalized, you're going to have to read it, which is fine. That in and of itself already, there's a disconnect in this communication already, because you're having to read a script, which, by the way, when you read a script, usually you sound scripted. And when you sound scripted, people can tell. And nobody likes to talk to somebody that sounds like they're reading a script. You're most powerful when you use an effective script without sounding scripted. So you sound conversational, and yet you're using a script. That's where the power is. And there are things you can do to make sure that you don't sound scripted, and that's called practicing. It's like everything else that we do in life. For you to do anything really, really well, it takes time on task. And for you, time on task means you practice every day on your own. You role play with great role play partners, not just wasting your time, and you make a lot of calls. It's time on task. The point is, though, the single most important thing you have to do with, in order to be able to convert these new expireds into listings, you have to make sure that you own the first line on the expired script. And when I say own it, it's not like you memorized it or you internalized it. No, it's beyond that. It's being able to, if I call you at 3 in the morning and I wake you up from a very deep sleep and I say, I'm an expired, go, it comes out of your mouth. Okay, you don't have to think about it, it just flows. And I'm not even saying, oh, you gotta internalize and own every objection handler for an expired or the closer. No, all I'm saying is the first line on the script. If you really put time and effort into it, you can internalize and own this within a couple of days. You could do that, so that once you own the script, now you could be focused on how they answered the phone, so you can mimic and match effectively. Now, let's talk about that for a minute. Some of you have heard this conversation about mimicking and matching before. Why is this so critical? When a new expired, which is an incredible opportunity for you to take a listing, answers the phone, hello. People like people who are like themselves. When you sound like them, it creates familiarity. You sound familiar to them, and they are less likely to resist you because you sound like, you talk like them. Yeah. Now, this applies to everyone that you speak with, especially people you don't know, because the people that you do know, this rapport, the mimicking and matching, the purpose of it is to build instant rapport. With the people that you know, you already have that. That instant rapport is already there. You communicate the same way with people you know, and it happens almost automatically, unconsciously. Now, with people you don't know, especially when someone is kind of abrupt and angry, if you call someone, it's not likely to be an expired, and they answer the phone, hello, yeah, they're like, they sound like they're smiling, they're in a good mood. That's easy, right? To match. I mean, you could still mess that up, but it's easier to say, oh, hi, this is Jackie. don't speak like that with the high pitch and the upswing, but it's easier. Now, when somebody answers the phone, hello, and it's somebody you don't know, and you know this could be a little bit of a hostile conversation here because it's expected. Matching that is critical, making them feel like you're there with them. So, what is it that you mimic and match? There are three things that I'm going to share with you on the phone with people you don't know that are the easiest. It's mimicking and matching their rate of speech, how fast or slow they speak. Mimicking and matching the volume of their voice and the emotion. Now, some trainers and coaches say, well, you got to figure out their personality style. Really? When somebody answers the phone, hello, what personality style? What? New expireds, all of them are just drivers. It doesn't mean that's who they are always. Typically, that's what new expired sound like. So forget about that. You're not going to be able to figure out somebody's personality style based on how they say hello to you on the phone. What you have in that moment is being able to create familiarity by sounding like they do. Now, earlier I was saying how important it is to own the script, own that first line. I'm going to give it to you in just a minute. You got to own the first line because in order to mimic and match effectively, remember, you got a few seconds to engage them or lose them. I want you to just get excited about the amount of money you can make by mastering this mimicking and matching, engaging them within the first, because if you can do that, if you could get past the first few seconds and keep them on the phone, engage them in conversation and build rapport, easy. Easy. That the hardest part is those first few seconds. Easy to continue this conversation, handle their objections, close, go out and take a listing. A well-priced listing too, because I'll come back to what I was saying, okay? A lot of agents say, oh, I don't like expireds. They're all overpriced, probably because they're not motivated and they don't want to sell. That's a story you made up. Yes, they're overpriced. If they weren't, they wouldn't have expired. But to assume that they will not lower the price and actually sell it, I mean, that's a story that's not helping you or benefiting you in any way. So let that go, because 50% of expireds relist within 3 days. And most of the expired listings that I took actually sold, a very high percentage of them, probably in the 80 or 85 percentile of expireds that I listed. So you got to own the script. You have to mimic and match so you can create that familiarity and build rapport with them. And in order for you to mimic and match effectively, you have to be very focused and listening intently. So when they say hello, you cannot be like checking your text messages or responding to an email, because then that's it. You lost your opportunity. They said hello, and you don't even know, is this a FSBO expired? Who was I calling? What's going on? And you're all over the place. You're done. You lost that opportunity. So your ability to stay focused and listen intently is 100% critical. If you've called expireds in the past, you're like, well, I don't know, I haven't had good luck with expireds, I don't know why, and I don't know what's going on. Well, I just told you why, so you know what to do from now on. And here's the thing too, how are you able to listen intently if you don't own the script? That's another challenge. That's why I said first order of business, go internalize the first line of the script, because otherwise they say hello and you're going, hello, this is Jackie. I have to read my own name because it's like, we all start there. Okay, I started there. And when I started in real estate my first year and I started calling expireds, I mean, I was terrified of expired. I literally was. I was scared of them because I didn't know the script. I couldn't handle any objections, mimic. I knew nothing. So they were not happy people. So they answered the phone, hello. And I, hi, this is Jackie. What do you want? Like, they would start screaming. I mean, like, I'm Miss Nice Jackie. Like, oh my gosh, what have I done? And so it took me, actually, I remember in the beginning, it was one of the reasons why I started leaning more towards FSBOs, and I started listing actually more FSBOs than expireds in the beginning because they were easy to talk to. I call and I say, hi, this is Jackie. I didn't understand that when an expired is angry and they're speaking fast and they're all, I gotta be there with them. I'm not angry at them, I'm angry with them. I'm frustrated with them. I feel what they're feeling and I understand why. And that's critical. Otherwise, you're done. You may listen expired here and there, but guess what? There are a lot of opportunities in your marketplace every day. And what I shared with you so far can actually help you create that consistency with setting expired appointments the same day, going out and taking well priced listings. There is no better source, there's no fastest. They're better than for sale by owners, they're easier for you to take listings right now than FSBOs are. So I want to give you the first line on the expired script. And then we're going to talk about FSBOs for a little bit because it's like we always have to talk a little bit about FSBOs. One thing that I want you to remember is when it comes to the do not call list, the do not call registry, no matter who you are calling, make sure that you speak with your broker, your manager in your office. Follow your office policy when it comes to do not call list. I mean, obviously, you don't call them, but do I text them? Do I do this? Do I do that? Talk to your broker or manager, okay? So you don't get in any kind of legal trouble here. So my first line, the opening line for the expired script is they answer the phone, ring, ring. I'm not going to mimic and match. Obviously, I'm doing this by myself. So it's just, I'm giving you the script and then I'll repeat it twice so you could write it down. So is this blank? So if you have their name, they say, hello, hello, is this blank? Okay. Now, this is Jackie. I'm a local real estate agent. So I don't recommend you say your company name because that could be right off the bat, that's going to be your first objection. If they've already met with, even if you're the first call of the day, if they were referred to somebody or if they're thinking of hiring an agent from the same company, they box us in. They think all agents are the same, but definitely from the same company. So eliminate that objection by not saying what company you're with. So, hi, is this so-and-so? This is Jackie. I'm a local real estate agent. I'm sure you are aware that your property came off the market today. I'm saying it slow so you can write it down. I'm sure you're aware that your property came off the market today. And I am calling you because I am confident that I can sell your home. And I'd like to meet with you for just 20 minutes and show you how I can do that for you. Would 3 o'clock work for you today, or would 4 be better? That's it. That is your opening line. It's direct to a close. I love that. Now, let me say a couple of things. I'm going to repeat. So this is, hi, is this blank? This is Jackie. I'm a local real estate agent. I'm sure you're aware. I'm sure you know that your house came off the market today. And I'm calling you because I am confident that I can sell your home. And I'd like to meet with you for just 20 minutes and show you exactly how I can do that for you. Would 3 o'clock work today? Would 4 be better? That's it. You can tell I know the script because I can say it fast because I've said it tens of thousands of times. Here's the key for you, or the keys, the important things about this script. The single most important thing that an expired is looking for in the next agent that they will list with is confidence. They're gonna so watch, when you call an expired, you want to have your best shot at getting the appointment, going out and taking the listing. You have to speak confidently so you can instill confidence in them that you could actually sell this property and you're the best agent to do it. This script that I just gave you is the script I used. I made it up when I was selling real estate because at the time, every script from every coaching company and coach, I tried everything. Okay. And none of them worked really well. And after a little while, I realized, what are these expireds really like? Put yourself in their situation. They're not going to set an appointment and list with someone that sounds kind of passive, wishy-washy, like, what do you think? No, they're already wasted 6 months. They're looking for a go-getter, an aggressive agent that makes them feel like, wow, you can sell my house. That's your job. And that's really how I came up with that opening line, right at the beginning of the script. I am confident that I can sell your home and I'd like to meet with you for that. Is what they want to hear. Now, some of them may really just give you an appointment right there after one line. And some of them may give you objections, which is fine. Give you objections, you handle the objection, you ask for the appointment again. When you say, I am confident, ooh, that better have a really low downswing. Because when you think about, if you've called expireds before and you didn't really have a lot of success, you're like, why? Why? They're so tough. They hang up and they don't give me appointments. What's going on? The common denominator that I was going to say that I've seen, but it's actually that I've heard from agents that I've coached for the last 15 years, upswings all over the place. So what happens is when you speak with upswings, it makes people feel weird. It's like it makes them question that what you're saying is actually true. And when you say, I am confident that I can sell your home, if you say that with an upswing, it's like the audio, and it's not really video in this case, but it's like the way what you're saying and how you're saying it don't match. You're saying you're confident, but you don't sound confident because you're saying with an upswing. So it makes them feel in like this is incongruent. This doesn't feel right. I like watch. This is their subconscious mind. I like what you're saying. It's what I want to hear, but the way you're saying it is so weird. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I'm not selling anymore. I already have an agent. I'm relisting with the same agent. So when you think about why is that happening, it's a lack of confidence from you, the way you are speaking. And the truth is, you don't really know what you sound like until you record yourself and listen back. I remember it happened to me. I had no idea what I sounded like until I recorded myself and heard it. And it was horrible. It's terrible to listen to yourself. But that is how you learn, because most people, most real estate agents, and I've coached them and I still do, they have a ton of upswings and they don't know. And they've heard this conversation about the importance of downswings. That gives you automatic authority. When you say something with a downswing, people are like, whoa, they know what they're talking about. They're confident. So every line out of your mouth needs to have a downswing. There are only one or two questions ever on a script where you use an upswing. So always, so should it be an upswing or downswing? Always err on the side of a downswing, because you can go wrong with that. Whereas an upswing, it's ruining so many opportunities for you. And again, you don't know what you sound like until you hear back. Most of my clients, they think they're have very strong downswings and they don't. So check that out. So you want to have that congruency, right? You want what you say and how you say it to match. Now, I'm telling you all of this as it relates to expireds, but the truth is this applies to everyone. Why would you not want to sound confident and with authority with everyone that you talk to? Even not just prospecting, presenting, pre-qualifying, pricing, price reductions, negotiating contracts. That downswings is one of the easiest ways for you to have instant authority and confidence. So it's worth you working on this, and it's going to help you in every aspect of your life, not just in real estate. Okay, that authority. So I want to take just a couple of minutes now. And some of you that are here are actually my clients right now, which is always fun to see you here. But you see in my background, it says SalesX Training. This is actually a training company that I launched a couple of months ago, 3 months, maybe three, going to 4 months now. And I want you to go on salesxtraining.com and check it out. It is the absolute highest level training in real estate. And I say that confidently because I've been around the real estate, well, in real estate for 24 years and the training and coaching industry for many years as a coach and trainer and speaker and as a client for many years. So I can tell you it is the highest level training. It is what you need to master listings. If you want to learn how to work with buyers or get business from social media, the SalesX Training is not for you. This is for the agents who are really, really serious about being the best listing agent in their marketplace. Training every day, Monday through Friday, twice a week, live calls with me. I do all of the training. And the best part about it is the cost. Go check it out. It's not $1,000 a month, which a lot of you may have paid in the past for coaching and getting a 30-minute weekly call. This is affordable so that even if you're a brand new agent, and most of my clients have a lot of experience, there are clients in my training that are selling 100, even 400 homes a year. So there's a lot of very experienced agents that can definitely, if you pay by the month and there's no contract, it's $149. If you pay for a full 3 months, it's $349 for 3 months. So clearly, this is something that everyone can afford. You get all of my scripts, you get a ton of stuff. So just go check it out. And there's even a 7-day trial. It's on the upper right-hand corner. If you want to check it out and start with the trial, you can check it out for 7 days. So I want to talk a little bit about FSBOs. This whole expired conversation, it's a little bit uncommon. You know, I've done a lot of different webinars and training, and most people just want me to talk about FSBOs. I mean, I love FSBOs, but I love expires just as much. And after sharing with you all the reasons why expired listings are so great, I'm kind of like, don't even feel like talking like about FSBOs right now. I just want to continue talking to you about expireds. One thing that I want to say though, when it comes to FSBOs and expireds, consider expanding the geographic area where you're getting FSBOs and expireds from, at least a 45-minute drive from your home or office, at least minimum 45 minutes. Because I said earlier, you know, a lot of agents, oh, I don't have enough FSBOs, I don't have enough expired. Well, you're not calling the ones that you have, so how many you have is totally irrelevant. But if you don't have enough, expand out the geographic area, because if you're only pulling expireds and FSBOs within 10 minutes of your home or office, you're limiting your opportunities there. And let's talk about FSBOs now, right? Easier to talk to, just not so easy to list until you master that FSBO presentation. Write this down about for sale by owners. So I have reasons why I love expireds, and I have reasons why I love FISBOs, right? Um, the key for you not to be a product of your market, meaning I said in the beginning of today's webinar that if you are in a buyer's market, there are more expires than FISBOs. If you're in a seller's market, there are more FISBOs than expires. And if you only master one, you say, you know what, I'm just going to focus on expires. All of a sudden, the market gets really hot and you don't have enough expires to take 2, 3, 4, 5 listings a week. If you focus on mastering FISBOs only, you don't call expireds. And if you're in a hot market, seller's market, great, you got a lot of FISBOs. Now, what happens when the market changes? Then that one source of business starts to diminish, and then that affects your ability to take more listings. This is why in the beginning I said you should have at least 3 sources, and those 3 sources should be expireds, FISBOs, and your past client sphere of influence. That's it. Those are the 3 main sources that give you control. Now, you have other options. You could go figure out how to bring business from social media. I have clients right now that have told me I have spent tens of thousands of dollars in social media advertising, in on Zillow, on this and that, and they got nothing to show for it. They're broke, they're going out of business, and they're spending all this money. And all of this is looking for a way not to have to master FISBOs and expires, because that would give you control. So not to be a product of market conditions. For that not to happen, you gotta master both expireds and FISBOs. So now it doesn't matter if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. You got more of one, less of the other, or vice versa, and it doesn't matter. And mastering FISBOs and expireds, by the way, it's going to make everything else in your real estate business easier, because you're mastering the toughest prospects. And once you know how to get listings and how to price properties and make a great presentation to these two, anything else, you get a referral, no problem. But guess what? Without mastering your business, the sales side of it, which is what's required with FISBOs and expireds, you could spend a bunch of money somewhere trying to attract leads to yourself. But guess what? The leads you're going to get, you're not the only agent they know. Most people are going to talk to 2 or 3 or even 4 agents, and you're going to be in a situation where you're going to have to be skilled in order to earn the business, even from a lead or a referral. It doesn't matter where they're coming from. So I really want you to get excited about the fact that this is not only about FISBOs and expireds, as if that was not enough. It's going to give you that control, but it's also going to make everything infinitely easier for you. So why do I love for sale by owners? Well, going back to the mindset, the only reason why you prospect is to find people who want to sell, so you could set a listing appointment, go out and take a low price listing. That's what you prospect for. And as much as I love expired listings, about 50% of them relist within 72 hours. Another 25% relist in 2 to 3 weeks. And then there's the remainder that, I don't know, maybe they will, some may not list again for a year, 2 years, who knows? There's a mix there. And I already told you all the reasons I love expireds, but how about FISBOs now? You're looking for someone who wants to sell. Every FISBO wants to sell. It's like you couldn't speak with a better prospect when it comes to that. You're speaking with people that have their house for sale and they don't have an agent yet. It's like hitting the jackpot. I figured that out for myself. I mean, that was like the beginning of my love affair with for sale by owners, because when I started in real estate, I started making a ton of calls around the neighborhood where I lived. And, you know, these calling around just listed, just sold, these calls work, but they are brutal. Why are they brutal? I mean, people are easy to talk to. You know, when you're calling a neighborhood, they're not a FISBO and expired. They're nice. They talk to you. You know, my biggest problem with these just listed, just sold calls was getting people off the phone, because I don't know if people are lonely, you know, they just want to, oh, if you're asking me questions, okay, I'll just tell you about my life. I'm like, yeah, you don't want to sell the house, I got to move on. That was my biggest problem, actually. They're super easy to talk to. It's just not easy to find someone who wants to sell. It's a numbers game at a very high level. You might have to talk, if you're lucky, 100 people to find one who wants to sell. And they probably don't want to sell today. It's going to be a couple of months from now, a year from now. I'm talking about, how do I find somebody who wants to sell today? Call FISBOs. There you go. They're all over the place. They're selling right now, today, and they don't have an agent yet. Now, could you find someone who wants to sell today by making just listed, just sold calls? Numbers game at the highest level. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you talk to 100 people in a day. If you, I mean, that's a lot of people. And you might have to talk to 300 or 400 people to find somebody who wants to sell now. Numbers game. Whereas FISBOs is 1-to-1. It's not 400-to-1. It's not 100-to-1. It's 1-to-1. It's not even expires that half of them relist right away. So it's 2-to-1 right away today. No, expires. FISBOs 1-to-1. And that's the reason why you need to master both. You can absolutely do it. If you don't have my FISBO script yet on salesxtraining.com, on the home page, I think it's on every page, but on the home page, if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, you put in your name, email, address, we will email you my FISBO script. It works. It will get you appointments. And then you got to master the presentation to be able to take those listings and take them well priced. Bottom line is, you know, quit looking for the magic answer. It's not even about spending the money. You know, I'll give you thousands of dollars a month. Just give me leads. Guess what? You're in the sales business. Real estate it's a sales job, and great salespeople are some of the highest paid individuals on the planet. So embrace the fact that this is a sales job and commit to mastering it. That's why this my company, it's sales. You are in the business of selling, and I'm gonna take you where you want to go, to the mastery of everything that is related to the listing side of the business, not just the prospecting. It's prospecting. Obviously, your goal is to set an appointment right now, but inevitably, you're going to end up with some leads. And it's doing really effective, powerful lead follow up. These are some of the things that I cover, right? And then the pre-qualifying, the listing presentation, pricing property, price reductions. This is all part of making you into a great listing agent, into the best listing agent in your market. It starts with you picking up the phone, using effective scripts, great skills, so you can start the ball rolling here and start taking listings right away. There's absolutely no better source. So with that, I think we only have a couple of minutes left, and if anyone has any questions, you could actually type it in the chat and I will do my very best to answer any questions. Anybody has any questions? You want to type it in? Anyone? Okay, Gerald. So Gerald, what is your question? Type it in. And I don't know why I'm not seeing it. I'm not able to unmute Gerald. So, hey guys, here's the deal. Rather than reading questions that I put my glasses on, that doesn't look like a lot of fun. Go to SalesX training, check out the training. If you have any questions about it, there's an email address on the website. There's a phone number on the website. You could just pick up the phone call, ask any questions. If you need to talk to me, somebody else is going to answer. They'll have all the answers for you. And if something that you need to know from me, I will be happy to call you as well. So with that, get out there and go after the single best source of immediate business. Embrace it, love it, because it's going to make you a fortune in real estate, not just in 2021, starting right now and for the rest of your real estate career. I appreciate your time today. We'll do this again soon. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.